Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zohair Munir and you are watching Info Center. My previous video was all about downloading, as you can see on the screen. So this is the first video of all about downloading series. In this video, you are going to learn about public domain and fair use. Before you watch this video, if you are new here on my channel, then I would suggest you to watch my previous video as well, so that you could evaluate the importance of knowing about the two terms public domain and fair use in this video. For your convenience, I have placed the link of my previous video in the description. You can check it there. Let's start the video. Public domain. When a work is downloaded, usually the intention is to use that work for your own creative project after making some alterations in the original work. The term public domain is quite flexible from this perspective. A work would be considered to be in public domain if no any terms and conditions are associated with it, and everyone is freely allowed to copy, share, distribute, or modify the original work even for commercial purposes too, without having to take any permission from the original author or artist. A work might be in public domain in one country and protected by copyright law in another country at the same time, because the laws vary among different countries. So you must investigate properly to confirm that the work you wanna modify is not a copyrighted work but falls in public domain. Why does a work fall in public domain? The reasons could be like the work was not protected at all by copyright law before publication, or the work was protected by copyright law but the time limit is expired. The third reason could be like the work was protected but the rights have been forfeited, possibly due to infringement, or an author initially has protected his work by copyright law but waives the rights expressly later on. The fifth reason might be the copyright law is simply inapplicable due to the type of content, and hence the work would fall in public domain. An important point: how would you come to know that a work is in public domain might be a critical question for you. The answer is you must check that when the work was published. After knowing the date of publication, check it with 4 rules, which are: first, if the work was published in USA before 1924, then it belongs to public domain. Second, if the work was published after 1923 but before 1978, then it is protected for 95 years from the date of publication. Third, if the work was published after 1977, then it is protected by copyright, which would last for the life of original creator plus 70 years after the life of original creator. The fourth rule is if the work was published between 1924 and 1963, you must confirm that whether the copyright was renewed by the author. If the author hasn't renewed the copyright from the US Copyright Office, then the work is in public domain. This was a brief description of public domain. So what we have concluded, you can see on the screen. subscribe and press the bell icon. Fair use. If you consider, the name itself states that the use of something must be for good reasons only, or you may be in trouble otherwise. The use of some copyrighted work would be considered as fair use if it is only for some specific purposes under certain circumstances, when a user is not subject to seek any permission from a copyright holder or liable to pay any fee or royalty. Although there are not some exact rules that could define the term fair use, however, there are 4 important factors you must keep in mind while determining whether the use of copyrighted work is fair or unfair. And most importantly, it is best to use your own judgment to decide if a use that much of someone else's work, would it be considered as fair use. To check this, you can apply this rule to your own self. Let's say you are an author and somebody has used a certain portion of your work. In this case, you would have to use your own judgment to figure out whether the usage was fair or you should be asked for permission first. The purpose is that sometimes but not always allow the limited use of copyrighted work are news reporting, criticism, educational or research purposes, as long as the aim is not to make any profit from it after reproducing the original work. To determine fair use, those 4 factors state that the purpose of using copyrighted work should be for public benefit only, but not to make any profit from it. And what is the nature of work, whether the work was published or unpublished. Third factor is, what is the amount of work? In other words, what is the length or time duration of copied work if the work was in digital form? And if the work is in written form, then how much work was copied? Whether it was only a chapter of the whole book or just a paragraph. The fourth factor is, if somebody reproduced a copyrighted work and distribute it even a limited number of copies, then what would be the impact of distribution on original work in the market? If this act affects the sale of original work negatively, then it wouldn't be considered as fair use. The conclusion is on the screen. I hope you have enjoyed the video. The next video would be the second video of this series, in which you would learn about copyright and royalty free. The link is given in the description. So stay tuned to Info Center and subscribe it if you are new here on my channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon as well to make sure you won't miss any of my new video. See you later. Bye.